Nor do I. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815.
Kids, they're on their best behavior right before Christmas. Adults, however, we're on our best behavior right after New Year's. I'm Greg. He's Tom. This is your In Crowd 815 podcast for, what is this, the 4th day of January of the year 2025. The latest it's ever been, Tom.
In the history of mankind.
And you made it. Congratulations. Yeah. You on your best behavior today?
Yeah, mostly before tax time. April 13th, 14th, 15th, you want your tax man to be good to you. So
that's right. We have a good show for you in the
I'm on my best behavior every day. Come on.
All right. Let's not make people nauseous this early in the morning. We have the board president from Shelter Care Ministries, Paul Happach, is on with us here just a couple of minutes, and I want to encourage everybody. First off, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us here in 2025. Can you believe we made it to the year 2025? 25 years ago, we were all still looking at each other going, wait a minute, these computers are still working?
Yeah.
What happened? Y2K was supposed to shut them all down. And here we are.
That's right.
25 years later, a quarter century into this new.
Well, I remember that day. I came out of my underground bunker and I'm like, wow, okay, I guess we're okay now.
Wiped the asbestos out of my eyes, and it was a wonderful thing that we're still
as best as you could,
as best as I could.
Yeah.
Let's do this before you get too stupid. Our current race to 10 has me in the lead by a score of 4-2. We had to revise our race to 10 when Joanne decided to retire from the podcast late 2024. By the way, Happy New Year, Joanne. We love you. We miss you.
We do.
We'll wish nothing but the best for you. So instead of for now anyway, the race is, can I just stump Tom on a 50-50 question every week? Pretty much is what is going on.
I think it's fixed. I think it's rigged.
It could be. I could rig this, and no one would be the wiser. 34,752,434 is the very specific big number of the week this week. And your answer is businesses or Bluey. Businesses or Bluey. Put your answer in the comments below.
Or put it on your phone and send it to Greg, which is what I did.
That's what Tom did. No prizes yet, just bragging rights for the week. Maybe at some point we'll have a sponsor that wants to give prizes for this. I don't know. It's open.
Wait, do I get the prize then if I win? Or do you? Or does the audience, somebody in the audience?
We really haven't established what we were going to do with this. And now that I'm so handily in the lead, I should probably ask for something good, right?
Yeah, like a new car wash.
A car wash. That's right. We might be playing for car washes. We don't know. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest for this week. If I can grab this right here. Boom. There we go. Paul is, I believe, a newly appointed board president of Shelter Care Ministries. They were one of our participants in the October masked karaoke trivia contest. Did a good job. Did not come away with money that night, but who knows? Maybe they will the next time we play. Paul Happach. I always worry that I'm saying your last name wrong, so correct me if I'm totally butchering it. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. No, you had it right. One of the few. I don't really.
But Greg, you screwed up the first name. It's Paul. Yeah, so
I do get that sometimes. Also.
Well, thanks for getting up early with us on this first Saturday of the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Really honored to be here on the show, and especially the first Saturday of the year to really ring in 2025.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, for those who have never met Paul Happach before, let's first learn about you, who you are. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? We want to try to make fun of your high school mascot if at all possible, and maybe a little bit of a career arc which brought you to where you are today. How about that?
Yeah. So I'm from the area. I went to Winnebago High School. Then, I mean, after that, I went to UW Platteville, so pretty close school there. I actually have a criminal.
Platteville, not Pioneers. What is
Yep,
Platteville?
Platteville
It
Pioneers.
is Pioneers. Okay, go
Yes, every
Pioneers.
day, great day to be a pioneer.
All right.
um, yeah, so I have a criminal justice degree, actually, minor in social and environmental justice and philosophy. Wanted to go law and am not in that career. Kind of meandered around trying to figure out what I want to do for a while. Lived in Chicago for a few years, but Rockford just had its stronghold on me and just pulled me right back in, like it does to so many people, really.
Mhm.
And got into the insurance world. Started at a small State Farm office here in Rockford. Worked at another commercial brokerage, and now I'm working at I work at Spectrum Insurance Agency as a commercial insurance risk advisor.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, along with that, been involved in Rockford as far as Next Rockford, which I believe is where we've met, Greg,
Yeah.
and a few other organizations, and most recently, like you said, shelter care.
Okay. And Spectrum is like an insurance. It's not an insurance company, it's per se, right? It's a brokerage.
Yeah, so we're an insurance brokerage. So I personally do like commercial insurance, but we are, we do the personal lines, home and auto. We do commercial stuff. We do life and health. So we do it all. But yeah, it's a brokerage, so we represent 15 different companies, and then beyond that, also for a larger reach. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a fun world for insurance right now. I'm sure you guys have all seen those wonderful premiums going up.
Yeah. I've had to explain to more than a few clients that, hey, this is the world we're in right now, and
Yeah, yeah.
for a lot of different reasons, insurance premiums are on the rise. I mean, I I don't know. Maybe you have a better way of explaining it than I do. I just kind of look at inflation and uh, cost of building materials and stuff like that, and say, hey, that's kind of I think the easiest way to look at it. But is there more that I could be saying that you share?
Y- Really, I mean, that's kind of it. It's really that the replacement cost value has gone up just dramatically. Really started with COVID and really hasn't been able to recoup since then. And then also, 2022 was the worst catastrophe disaster year, especially for the Midwest, Northern Illinois, only to be topped by 2023. Um,
Wow.
2024, we had tornadoes in February in Wisconsin, which was, completely unheard of. We had tornadoes all over Chicago in, the early spring, late winter. So just a large, quite a few different things, but it's, storms and what it costs to replace it. But that's a hard conversation for you, Greg. When I'm buying my house for $250,000, why is insurance saying it's worth $1 million? I don't get it.
Right, right. It's like,
So when
well,
you go to sell it, it's not worth a million. It's worth, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's that the whole replacement cost thing that's out there, and that's the conversation that I've had a lot in the last couple of years too about should I just go ahead and build a house? Is it going to be
Yeah.
about the same money? Well, I wish I could say it was. It all depends on how much house you want
Uh-huh.
and who the
Exactly.
builder is and where you want to be. So,
Yep.
before we get into shelter care ministries, because you're again in the insurance industry, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
I don't know hardly anything about commercial insurance. Without naming names or throwing people under the bus, is there some really wacky, weird story you can share about an insurance claim that was either good or bad in your experience over the years that you're like, oh, this is almost movie worthy. This is wild. Uh,
I mean, a few. Yeah.
A few.
Yeah. I mean, really, the big thing that we see right now is a lot of cyber claims.
hmm,
People think they don't have information, or these small businesses, but they end up, having quite a bit. But We have one that is a medical office that has obviously a lot of personal information, medical information, has to deal with HIPAA, which is never fun, right?
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
they were cyber attacked. It took uh, about 6 months for them to kind of like data mine everything to actually figure out everything that they got, everything that they, what they stole, what they looked at. That ended up being around $1 million claim just for,
Oof.
and that's none of the HIPAA penalties or anything like that. Um, and then uh, I've also had one where it was actually invoice fraud where somebody sends an invoice and or sends it looks like it's coming from your email,
Uh-huh.
A&A manufacturing, and this other company gets it. They say, oh, okay, yep, got a new deposit, here's our new routing account and everything, and then A&A manufacturing goes, hey, we haven't got any payments for past 3 weeks. Yeah, they somebody got in, changed that routing information, and they're missing out on about $250,000 of
Ooh.
income, which it's not the bank's fault. The bank didn't, they just
Yeah.
put the money where they were told to do it.
Yeah.
So just a lot of cyber stuff. But yeah, there's always something new. People
And a
think
lot of that
insurance.
is not recoverable. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's kind of depends on your policy really, but some of it is, but typically, up to those limits of $250,000, insurance companies will. That's kind of actually the max that insurance companies will insure for, relatively, unless you really want to pay some money. But yeah, that's typically like a much lower limit because it's very common. And yeah,
It's funny. Everybody thinks, oh, I screwed that insurance company. Yeah, got the big guy. No, you're not. Well, you are, but you aren't. You're screwing everybody else because now my insurance, Greg's insurance, your insurance goes up because of all of that. And it's
yeah,
crazy. We wonder why things are so expensive. Well, it's because of the morons out there who are lying and cheating and stealing.
yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you know, hailstorm comes, everybody in the neighborhood's getting a new roof, right? Um, Maybe they just got a new roof 2 years ago because they had a hailstorm 2 years ago, but everybody else is getting a new roof. I want to get a new roof. And
Mhm.
that's kind of caught up with us now, right?
You
And
you know this wasn't a scam or anything, but it's kind of funny. I just had the blessing of a lifetime. Um, I got a grant from the city. My wife had applied for it, and we got the grant, and they gave us a new roof, new siding, new deck, and a few other things as well. It was wonderful. It's a city improvement thing. So
yeah,
I come home the other day, and I've got a little door hanger on my door that says, "Hey, we're in the neighborhood, and we're doing roofs and siding and windows and this and that." Like, can you not see that it's literally
yeah,
brand new? They just finished it 2 days before Halloween. That's when they finished it. So I thought that was kind of funny. That wasn't a scam, and God bless them for being out there trying. But pay more
yeah.
attention, folks. I got
Well,
all brand new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Do a little Google search. Try and make sure
Yeah.
yeah.
they're a local company.
Oh,
They're not from
yeah,
Texas and gonna run out as soon as
yeah.
they're done with the job.
And one other thing too. One of my neighbors. I don't know him. He's probably a block or two away. Goes by my house all the time. Goes, "Hey, how you doing? I'm one of your neighbors. I live down the street." He says, "So this place was in town, and I'm not going to mention the name of the place, but they do bathroom remodels, and they said that they did your house recently. Did you get a new remodel in your bathroom?" Like,
Mm.
no, I did not. I got a roof, I got siding, I got this, I got that. Did not get a new bathroom. I did not. My brother-in-law did a new bathroom for us about 5 years ago. Did a wonderful job. So we're good for a long time. And I thought it was kind of funny because they say, well, your neighbor over there at my address, he just got a new such and such, and you can generically cover it up by saying, well, he just had some work done. Yeah. Oh, he loves it. Oh my goodness, it's great. Never once did they say actually
Yeah.
my address or whatever. They're the
Yeah.
yellow house next to the blue house, or whatever.
They take advantage of that. They know we don't talk to our neighbors as much as we used to back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it's
that's right. Okay, I'll shut up now.
we had guys going around selling gutter clean out and leaf guard things. So we don't even have any trees in our yard. Which, yeah, that was kind of I was like, are you not looking around here? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get leaves in my gutters.
Yeah,
It's
do your work first. Right?
maybe be a little bit cognizant of what the world's going on. So for those who have never ever heard of Shelter Care Ministries before, what do you tell people when people ask you what is Shelter Care Ministries?
So really, I tell people that shelter care, we help home the homeless, really.
Mhm.
So we work with supportive housing for families mainly. We do have started in the past year and a half, homing for individuals, but really mainly shelter care is aimed at homing families. Another part of shelter care is actually the Jubilee Center, which is a day program center for adults with chronic mental illness who may be homeless or at risk of homelessness. So they kind of work hand in hand there a little bit. Yeah, shelter care. So I mean, from July 2023 to June 30th, 2024, the housing program had housed 148 children, 70 parents, and what was it, 51 families total. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, um, are you working in conjunction with any other not-for-profits here in Rockford? Is there like I know there's a lot of different ministries and public service groups who do some similar type of things. So I wonder, do you have a good connection with some here in the 815 area?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, shelter care ministries and Jubilee Center are, started actually as part of the Emmanuel Episcopal Church. So that's really where it started, and they're still very involved. We have, I believe 2 board members. Board seats are, assigned for Emmanuel Episcopal Church members. So trying to keep those roots strong, it's where we started. And then really a lot of other non-for-profit programs here in Rockford, just because we are one of the ones that can home a lot of homeless. And so, through the different avenues, obviously Rockford kind of has a one point of contact, phone number or organization or group that you can go to, and they kind of can help divvy that out. But yeah, I mean, I just recently talking with our president, Sarah Scallion, Sarah Parker Scallion, that we're working with Carpenter's Place. I believe they just got a new CEO in there, so we're working with them. We have done a lot with them in the past, and yeah, trying to kind of rebuild that with that new CEO there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having him on the podcast here too. We've had Carpenter's Place on at least once last year, and yeah, the new guy running things over there actually was taught by my wife back in the day, so we got a connection there. I got to get him on the show. So Shelter Care has been around since, well, gosh, almost 40 years.
Yeah. So where
1985, I think I saw here the date of starting this thing, 1985. So 40 years of Shelter Care Ministries this year.
Yeah, yeah, we're actually having a spring luncheon in May to kind of help celebrate that. We have a spring luncheon every year, but this one we're gonna have, do it a little bit extra, a little bit larger. We actually were trying to have a 35-year anniversary 5 years ago, but as we know, something happened in March 5 years ago, which kind of put
Right.
everything on hold.
Kind of put
Yeah.
everything on hold. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that, but yeah,
Threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans that
yeah,
year. That's for sure.
I'd
So
say so.
Mm.
good deal.
Hard to believe it's been 5 years.
Crazy. It's
And
Yeah.
I still see people wearing masks. I'm not judging here. If you want to wear a mask, you go right ahead. But I think we've kind of gotten out of that now. But like I said, if you want to wear a mask, you go ahead.
Well, we just had a thing like this last week where one of the hospitals required and then backtracked and said and made it optional to wear masks. They are limiting visits in at least one of the hospitals here to certain patients, which probably is the good thing to do anyway. But yeah, that's with the flu season upon us,
Sure.
or for those who are in in touch with their bodies, the sugar poison season is upon us. Just
The sugar poison season.
it's well, that's what I would encourage people to realize what's going on most wintertime. It's not just because we're still spending more time indoors. It's because we're eating more sugar than we normally do. And guess what happens to our immune system when we have more sugar than normal? It has a real struggle keeping up. So if you're one of those who is prone to getting the flu every year, or prone to getting some sickness every year, check your diet. For real, like check your diet and make sure that you're not just having more sugar than normal and taxing your immune system. Okay, that bunny trail, we can come back now to Shelter Care Ministries.
Yeah. You just described my whole weekend.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
keep an eye on yourself. Take care of your body. It'll take care of you. So there's a couple different things that Shelter Care does. It's not just housing for a certain at-risk population. You have like you said, the day program for adults.
Yeah.
And that's got to be something that. Can you explain the Jubilee Center to those who don't really know what that is?
Yeah. So, again, the Jubilee Center was the original one that started out of the Emmanuel Episcopal Church there. One of 600 centers in the world, or was at that time. So, I mean, really, again, a day center. So every single day they open their doors for people for members. So you do have to be a member of the Jubilee Center to get in.
Okay.
So they open the doors and really help these people who, have these chronic mental illnesses. And also, I believe we've started to open up to other chronic illnesses as well. Just kind of seeing that need in the community. But, a lot of them, one, it's a place for community for them, for people to come together, talk. Also, we have different scheduled activities, whether it's like an activity going out. I know in the fall, went out to the pumpkin patch, or the apple orchard. Got those donuts, which I think everyone in the community has to do that. Not to get back onto your sugar train there, Greg, but I will eat a whole bag of those. They do hot meals there. I believe it's twice a week that they do hot meals, and different social events. So they had a Christmas party. They have bring in different organizations to not for profit organizations to help with domestic violence or any other sort of issue that could affect that community, and then also kind of social activities to, again, bring that community together, kind of find some needs, find those needs of those members so that they can kind of address them better. And then along with that, they offer services for the chronic mental health with some caretakers and some professionals to help with that.
Okay. And is there? You say they have to become members of the Jubilee Center. There's just some kind of a background check of people that want to join.
Yeah. So you have to. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but something. I believe from a medical professional showing that there is a mental illness there, or chronic mental illness there. Or they do have some people on staff that if there's a situation that they can't get into a doctor or something, that they can help not diagnose it, but see if there are some issues there that they can help with.
Okay. They got a bunch of wish list things on your website here. Donation drop-off location on 7th Street. bread and butter, cereal bars and such,
Yeah.
household cleaning items, personal care, furniture. I got to see what's in the big wishes here. Donation drop off.
I haven't seen the big wishes.
Big
Oh,
wishes says laptop, a newer version that can support Windows 10 or I guess Windows 11 now would be out now. So anyway, if you want to donate, there's a page here. I'm going to go ahead and share this in the chat real quick so people can easily get to your Shelter Care Ministries webpage. And let's see here. What else? Mission statement. Mission of the Shelter Care Ministries to provide shelter, awaken hope, and honor dignity for every person who seeks assistance through our programs. Focus is on individuals living with a chronic mental illness and families that are experiencing homelessness in the Winnebago and Boone County area. So you mentioned some of the numbers of 2024 that you guys have been able to serve in the last year. Has that been pretty steady over the 40 years? How has the trend been as far as the people helped with Shelter Care
yeah.
Ministry?
So, kind of going back to 2020 COVID times, there was a large influx of federal and state funding for homelessness. And so really it was pretty steady. I mean, continually growing, shrinking, just kind of depending on what funds are available, what grants are out there. Um, 2020 really put a large boost into the organization, allowing us to offer a lot more services and also a lot more housing. A lot of these grants and stuff, they have different requirements, like this individual housing. That's a grant that's specifically for individual housing, which is something that we have been trying to kind of get into, because obviously there's still a large need for it here in Rockford. Um, but yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought there.
Well, I was wanting to ask you too, if people do want to get involved. I showed the wish list here just a
Yeah,
little bit, but volunteer opportunities. Are
yeah,
you always looking for new volunteers?
yeah, always obvious. I think most organizations are, right. Probably. But yeah, I mean, you can see the list there, but we have, hospitality volunteers to help just um, for the Jubilee Center, come bring companionship to those members, help out with them, whether it's sitting for a game night, maybe they're having some financial issues and you have a background in that, and you can help them out with that, or, just for someone to talk to. Um, Resource volunteers, so bringing foods, household appliances. I When I moved in with my girlfriend, actually was able to donate my washer and dryer there, which worked out because I did not have to move that out of the apartment, which was awesome.
Mhm.
um, because you don't realize how heavy washers are until you have to move them down a flight of stairs that's outside and iced over. I can guarantee.
Dryers not so much, but wash
Yeah,
machines, hello. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, a lot of different furniture, and then some more physical labor type stuff, helping move and helping stage these homes, because obviously if they're homeless, they're moving in there without anything. So we would like to make sure they have, if they have children, they have enough plates, bowls, cups. If they do have children, we want to make sure that they do have sippy cups, that they have bottles, that they have formula if needed to get started out. So not only is it like the furniture aspect of it, but we get them started with some general groceries as well.
yeah.
um, Fundraising, as always. We have a few different events every year. Last night we actually had a wine tasting at Artale Wine, which was awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it's a beautiful place. Get to walk around, look at all the expensive wines that I don't understand the hickory smoke or the hints of whatever, but
Right.
do like it. So we have that. We have a comedy night, our comedy event, every year. We may not be doing it in 2025, but past few years, Kevin Haas has hosted that, and we've brought in some comedians from Chicago. We have a few like guest bartender events as well. And then we have our annual luncheon. So yeah, a few different kind of fundraising events, and then really another large way to help donate and volunteer is to join our board of directors. We have a very strong board right now. We have kind of been on or just kind of got done with a kind of search for some new board members. We had some board members who were falling off the board just due to their tenure being done there, and wanting to get some new, fresh, a little bit younger faces in there, which is I think I help out with a little bit there. Don't mind the gray hair, but yeah. So in I'm have been on the board for just under 2 years, and joined became a board president last month. So it's a very active board, but obviously we're helping two great organizations here.
You have monthly meetings or bi-monthly? How's the
Yeah, so we have monthly meetings. I mean, hour and a half long meetings. Um, I won't be keeping the meetings too long, so that hour and a half is, I think where we'll keep that. After that, people tend to start daydreaming, right? um, but yeah, and we meet at the shelter care offices on 7th Street downtown, so plenty of parking there as well. And yeah, then shelter care actually just had their offices all remodeled as well, so beautiful break room there.
Cool. Well, shelter-care.org is the website. And again, I've got that in the chat, so it makes it really easy for people to go right on there and check you guys out. I think I had your Facebook page up here too. Yeah, Facebook, SCM Rockford. And I'll put that in the chat as well. Before we get into some Tom's trivia, was there anything that we did not ask you about this morning that you were kind of hoping that we would ask you about today?
I did take some notes on real quick.
Thank you to
Oh,
Sheriff Winnebago County and Hard Rock Casino for Christmas gifts. That's looking at your Facebook post. That's all.
I guess I just wanted to touch on the different types of housing that we do offer. So we have emergency housing. So this is some of the criteria, and again, our criteria is on our website. But this is short-term shelter and private furnished apartments. Each of these families is assigned a housing advocate who assists with benefit acquisition advocates on the behalf of the resident and supports the family. We have transitional housing. So this is kind of mid-length housing in private furnished apartments. Rent is paid by shelter care. The family pays utilities of this. Again, each family is assigned a housing advocate. Adult members meet regularly with the advocate just to make sure the program's going well, see what other needs are there. We have a rapid housing, so again, mid-length housing for families. These are families who self-select a rental property in the community, and the lease is kind of between the family and the property owner. Other cases, shelter care is the lesser, and then they sublease from shelter care. In this program, families pay 30% of the adjusted income. They pay utilities and have a housing advocate. And then we have permanent supportive housing. So again, long-term housing for families. Rent is paid by shelter care. Families pay the utilities. Have the housing advocate there. But yeah, just wanted to touch on a few of the different types of housing programs that we have.
And is that a temporary or long-term thing for most people? I guess is there kind of a limit to how much time they can use this?
Yeah, so again, depending on the program and where the housing advocates kind of feel that they fit in. It's also, a conversation with the renter, right? So what do you think you need? Do you have a job? Are we kind of making our way there, and we just, hit a rut in the road and need a little help for a couple months, or is this going to be, a long-term thing that we have, some chronic mental illnesses that is not allowing us to be able to, work a regular schedule or work a job, and need the support of housing long term, so we can make sure we have a house, make sure our children have houses, and have that support there. So really, different levels, but the long term housing, there is, I don't believe there's actual limits on that.
Okay.
As long as still getting that grant, those grant monies in.
Okay. All right. Well, check out Shelter Care Ministries if you have it as a resource on your phone. And if you run into somebody who might be in need and could benefit from their services, you've got a number, you've got a website you can send them to, and it's nice to have a resource. With obviously we ended the year 2024 with having Rockford Rescue Mission on, and that serves a segment of our population in one way. Shelter Care Ministries, another option for those who might want an alternative to that. There's some great things going on here in Rockford to help people out, help people get a hand up and back on their feet. So we are very, very thankful for you and your ministry here in Rockford, and appreciate you coming on and telling us all about it here today, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. When you and I are going to be challenged by something, and I think it looks a little bit like this. Yes, a little bit of Tom's Trivia Challenge for this first show of 2025. I just want to do better than 50%. That's all I'm hoping. I just want to get.
Oh, I think you will.
All right.
I think
This
you
part
will.
made me the most nervous.
Oh, you're gonna be just. You're gonna
I'm
be
not
just.
good at these games. My girlfriend loves them, so we were practicing last night. So hopefully we're good.
Okay, most of it is current event type stuff, but I do have one comment based on what you said. You said tornadoes in Chicago
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was not aware of that. That is just very interesting. Now, it's kind of funny because it is so rare that they actually have a touchdown in Chicago.
Mhm.
So
No, there was that one like weekend we had like 9 tornado touchdowns in Northern Illinois, and like 2 or 3 of them actually hit Chicago. It was nuts. It was just a crazy weather weekend, and it was like in the winter time. It was like not winter. Was it late fall? I forget what the date was on that, but
Yeah.
well, I was just talking about touchdowns in Chicago.
then he's making Bears joke.
Okay, all right.
That one went over my head, but yeah,
right.
I agree. Hey, go Pack, go. That's why
Yeah.
I agreed. I watched the podcast, saw everything. I was like, all right, I like these guys.
My newest entry here. It's a
Love
pillowcase.
that.
I got
Love
to cover
that.
up some books and all that, All right. So here we go.
All right, what do we got?
With all due
Tom?
respect to anybody who lost anything in Chicago, it's just humor. It's just humor.
It's just humor.
All right. But I do have a bonus question that has to do with Bears and Packers. So
Ooh.
All right,
here we go. Here we go. Question number 1. Oh, by the way, your categories are movies, translations. Let's go art, then bridges, and then we're going to go marriage and football. Then we're going to follow it up with a Bear Packer trivia question.
All right.
Because
Bear
Bear
Packer weekend.
Bear Packer
Yes,
weekend.
yes.
That's right. Go Packers.
Mhm.
All right. Here we go. Question number 1. Movies. More specifically, Oscars. Which film won the Best Picture Oscar at the 2024 Academy Awards? Was it Killers of the Flower Moon or Oppenheimer? I'll read it again, give you a few seconds to kind of digest it. Which film won the Best Picture Oscar at the 2024 Academy Awards? Was it Killers of the Flower Moon or Oppenheimer?
I only saw one of those 2 movies, and I liked it. I liked Oppenheimer. It was pretty good, but I have no idea this Killer's Moon movie thing. That's beats me.
Yeah, I haven't heard of either. Or Killers of the Flower Moon. I never saw Oppenheimer, but I mean, I think I remember it winning a whole bunch of awards.
All right, let's go
Or
with
was that
Oppenheimer.
Barbie? Was that the Barbie movie that won all the awards?
That's right.
Yeah, Barbie. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh.
Don't get me started. All right. Well, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. Oppenheimer it was.
All right, good. All right.
Oppenheimer. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. All right. Question number 2. Question number 2. Translations. What does Old Lang Syne translate to in English? I'm going to give you two options. Is it times long past or see you next year? Once
I'm
again,
gonna
what
go
does Old Lang Syne translate to in English? Times long past or see you next year?
I'm gonna say see you next year. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it could go either way when you think about the way the song goes. So yeah, see you next year. How about that?
Wah, 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 wah. No, it is times long past or times gone by. Either
No, I
one
thought
will
it
work.
meant like good riddance. So I guess times long past maybe it could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
could be interpreted that
Yeah.
way. All right.
Done with you. Times long past. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
So, all right. Bye-bye. 1 and
All right.
1. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. 3. Question number 3. Art. A piece of fruit duct taped to a wall sold for $6.2 million at an art auction in November. What type
Yeah.
of fruit was it?
You remember this, Paul?
Oh yeah, the banana.
It was a banana. Yes, it was.
Ding, ding, ding.
What is wrong with
It made
us?
me so angry. How? Why am I not that artist?
Yeah.
I
Well,
duct
you
taped
know,
a
go
Bears
ahead.
jersey to a wall. I thought that would get money too, but it got
Start
nothing.
throwing darts at it.
Yeah, throwing darts at it. I've got 4 bananas sitting out there on my counter. I think I'm sitting on like $24 million there.
It's
I
a lot of
mean, I don't know what you're doing here.
I know. I'll be right back. I'm going to peel out of here and go. I'll
Cash it
split
in.
the profits with you.
Thank you. I love
I've heard that
banana
before.
split. I'm all about banana split. All right.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
All right.
All right,
2 to 1.
number 4, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. Number 4, bridges. In March, a container ship struck the blank bridge in Maryland, causing it to collapse. Name this bridge. It's named after a person. So I'm going to reread this. In March, a container ship struck a bridge in Maryland, causing it to collapse. Name this bridge. It's named after a person.
You know what, Paul?
Mm-mm.
I think he's
mine.
I think it's named after the guy who wrote the national anthem. I think it's the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Ding,
Yeah, sounds
ding,
right.
ding. There you go.
Woohoo!
3 and 1.
All right.
3 and 1.
I'm feeling
Here we
overconfident now. I'm about to.
That
I'm about
page
to
is
mess these up.
gone. All right. What are we on? Question number
5.
Question number 5. Yeah, because if
Oh,
3 and 1
5.
is 4, that 5 would be next. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, marriage. This should be a pretty easy one. Who has actor Michael Douglas been married to for 24 years? You get no options here.
You know this one, Greg? I got no clue.
She's an actress who's been in a lot of movies, some of them with Michael Douglas.
Yep.
What's her most one of her more famous movies was Chicago. She was in the movie musical version of Chicago.
Yep.
I forget which role she played, but she's stunningly gorgeous, and her name is Catherine Zeta-Jones.
You are correct,
Zeta
sir.
Jones.
All
Catherine
right.
Zeta-Jones.
All right.
Kudos to them for being married for 20 plus years. That's awesome. That's a Hollywood
yeah, really,
success
especially in
story.
Hollywood. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's funny. 20 years for most of us are like, oh, that's good. Well, that's pretty good. Hopefully another 20. For in Hollywood, it's like, oh my God, we're going to build a statue for you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Bronze.
Question number 6 is a football question. Who is the NFL's all-time leading rusher? In terms of yards, obviously. That's what rushing is. Who is the NFL's all-time leading rusher currently as we speak?
So you're not talking about single season. You're like career.
All-time career. Single season, Saquon Barkley actually has a chance to break it, but he's not
playing.
Yeah,
He's not going to play, so he's not going to break the Eric Dickerson's record.
Well, I don't have to worry about him being on my fantasy team or anything because I won my fantasy league last week.
Hey, way to go, Tom!
Yes.
All right,
Yes. Anyway,
Fantasy league winner.
back to reality.
So
Emmett Smith? That's probably my best guy.
Emmett Smith. I thought Emmett Smith did break the record, and he probably still holds it. I don't think anyone's beat him yet.
Congrats, you are correct. I'm not even going to let you go any further.
Woo!
Not gonna let you screw it up. You got
Yeah.
it. It's Emmitt Smith.
Talk yourself out of it.
That's right.
That's right. Well, that happens a lot in trivia. You
But
know,
somebody
people
got
think
close. Who was getting close? Adrian Peterson was getting close, right?
Yeah.
I think so. But you know what? The greatest running back of all time is Barry Sanders.
Barry
He
Sanders.
retired after about 9 years.
Yeah.
He still is like third or fourth on the list. He
Yeah.
would have had 20-something thousand yards.
Yeah.
The guy was absolutely
He was
17
so
game
elusive.
season. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he was in college, opposing college coaches, I heard this. One of the most famous quotes in college coaching history was the Oklahoma University coach said, "Whatever you do, don't hurt Thurman Thomas because his backup is better." At Oklahoma State. Thurman Thomas was back number 1 and Barry Sanders was back number 2. Can you imagine that as a backfield? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about
Alabama like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah. Derrick Henry. Well, he was probably a little more than 5, but you're right. Alabama has produced some running backs like crazy.
Most people are too young to remember Thurman Thomas, but he went on to play in 4 consecutive Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills, and they lost all of them. But he was an amazing running back.
Oh, he was. And by the way, I'm hoping for 2 reasons. I'm hoping it's Green Bay Buffalo in the Super Bowl. I think Buffalo has a better chance of making it than Green Bay. Green Bay's got a tougher road. They're as good as anybody. They are very good, but they got a tougher road. But if it's Buffalo and Green Bay, it's the 2 smallest markets in the NFL.
Yeah.
Green Bay's got like 110, 112,000. Buffalo's got like 248,000.
Yeah.
It is the 2 smallest markets in the NFL. I would love it. And this would be, and by the way, if it's Buffalo and Minnesota, then someone gets their first Super Bowl. They're both 0-4.
That's the story I think that the NFL would want the most this year.
Probably. All right, here we go. Final question. Actually, I do have another bonus question if you want it, but here we go. Final question. Bears-Packers. In the all-time series, who leads? It's a 50-50. Is it Green Bay or is it Chicago? Who has the most wins all time?
It just changed hands like last year.
Yeah, I want to say the Packers have it
by like 1 or 2 games. It just changed recently. Yeah,
it changed hands about 8 years ago.
No, really?
Packers 108. Bears 95.
You know what I'm talking about is the all-time total number of wins in the
total
NFL.
number of wins. You're correct. You still got the answer correct. You did, but you're right. That's right. It just did. When Green Bay beat Chicago, in fact, I think that might have been the week where they were tied for the most wins all time, like 895 or something like that. So the Packers have 108 wins. The Bears have 95. And if you think about it, they haven't beaten the Bears haven't beaten the Packers since the first Trump administration. So think about it this way. The Packers have won 11 in a row now. So you take 11 off of 108 and we're talking about 97. It was very close then before this run.
Yeah.
So yeah. And they've had 6 ties. And in the playoffs, they've met 2 times. They're 1-1. All right, for kicks and giggles, just because it'll only take 30 seconds, name all 4 of the teams in the Final Four right now for football, for the NCAA championship or FBS championship.
Okay. Notre Dame.
Yep.
Texas.
Yep.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Penn.
And Penn State.
Penn State. That's right.
Big Ten. Go Big Ten.
So
that's right. And you had Oregon in there too, but I don't count Oregon as Big Ten. They're still
not yet. They got like 3 years till I consider them Big Ten.
Yeah, it took Penn State a few years for me to consider them.
Rutgers still isn't in the Big Ten.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe in basketball, depending on the
year.
Yeah, Rutgers is kind of like the practice squad for the rest of the Big Ten.
Unreal.
So you've got Notre Dame playing Penn State and Ohio State playing Texas. Notre Dame will beat Penn State. I really do believe Notre Dame is better than Penn State. Yep. And I think Ohio State's going to kill Texas. I think you're going to have a Notre Dame-Ohio State championship game. And sad to say, I think Ohio State's probably going to win. I don't mind Ohio State, I don't hate him at all. I wouldn't mind seeing Ryan Day win a championship because that he came from the Urban Meyer school and Urban Meyer, Urban Meyer, and then he loses to Michigan a few times. The guy's only lost 8 games in his tenure and 3 of those are to Michigan.
3 of those to the Michigan. Yeah.
He's
Something
like
to say about it, though.
What's that?
I said something to say about it, though. The guy can't beat Michigan. I mean,
well, he beat him. He beat him in 2018, 56-14, I believe, or 52-14. So, it just so happened that Michigan with Jim Harbaugh and a couple of good quarterbacks and guys before the transfer portal, or at least before it really took hold. This year was just ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
This is why you're seeing a lot of these teams with 9-2 records. They were 3-9 last year. So. Anyway.
What's going to happen? Is it going to take 1 or 2 more years before the NCAA finally goes, okay, whoa, this Wild West NIL transfer portal business has got to get under control? It's because it's a player that transfers more than once. I think that could be that's a problem. If you want to transfer, maybe you transfer one time.
One time. I'm okay with that. And it needs to be very, very specific. But there was a guy last night, I was watching the game. I want to say it was, who was it? I don't remember. Anyway, it was a smaller school. It was like the Sun Belt Bowl or something. He had transferred from 1, 2, 3. This is his 4th school. His 4th school since 2018 or 2019 or something like that. His 4th school. He just kept transferring.
I mean,
I hate moving. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, right.
I'm all for freedom. I'm all for freedom and freedom of choice and stuff like that. But you sign to a school. You're going to go to college there. They expect you to. They're investing in you too. They're giving you a scholarship more than likely, right?
That's right. Well, they always say, "Well, the coach recruited me, and then all of a sudden he takes the job in the NFL or whatever." Or he takes
that
the job
might be the caveat to some of this. It's like, okay, if the coach that recruited you leaves, you get a free pass on that season.
And they do actually do that. They actually do that.
Look,
Bob Smith, Coach Smith recruited me. Yeah, that's why Deion Sanders. You're right.
Yeah,
I think that's what you said. It's fine. I don't mind the NIL, but it needs to have a cap. You can't have these college players making $4.5 million. You just can't. I mean, I get it, but let's cap it at $100,000 or something like that. So at the top of the scale, you can get $100,000, and if that doesn't help you, $100,000 per year. If that, you can make $400,000 in your college career, and you're not going to make it as a freshman or a sophomore unless you're just dynamite, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, but like Olivia Munn, I think her name is. No. Olivia, the gal from LSU, the gymnast. Olivia Munn was the gal that Aaron Rodgers was dating. And she wisely dumped him. Olivia Dunn. There you go. She made like $4.5 million.
That's amazing.
What? Yeah. What is she going to go pro as a gymnast? No, because the Olympics are,
That's it. Yeah.
But once you accept money, you're essentially going pro, which I can't.
That might be harder to get a hold of than the transfer thing, but something's got to be done because it's a little.
Well, I think if they put a cap on it, I think everybody's good. Now you're name, image, and likeness, and I agree with it. They're making money off of your jersey, and yeah, fine. You're getting a scholarship and you're getting paid education and all that. Well, there's a lot of people getting paid education because their grades were good in high school or because of this or because of that. Well, I'm sorry, but in the physics lab, no one's coming to see you, put bleach and ammonia together. Oh wait, you're not supposed to do that.
Maybe that would change. We could,
I might watch you do that, Tom.
From a distance, but accidentally.
With lots of safety gear, all kinds of safety gear.
Yeah, right. I actually did do that. It was unintentional completely. I knew better. But anyway.
All right. Well, we did good on trivia to kick off the new year.
Thanks
for that, Paul. That was good. Any final things before we let you go? I know Tom wants to talk a little more sports before we wrap up the podcast today, but any final thoughts from you, Paul, before we let you go?
No, I just really, really appreciate you guys bringing me on. Let me talk about shelter care. I just, ask everyone out there to go check out our website. Go check out all the links that you posted for our Facebook. We post our any events that we're having on there. Our spring luncheon is May 8th, so check that out also. I believe it's a Wednesday or Thursday in the afternoon, so we know if people have work, so we won't keep you there too long, so you can get back to work. But yeah, I just really appreciate it, and anytime I get to talk Packers, it's a great time.
Absolutely. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack,
All
go.
right. All right,
Okay.
Paul. Well, you have yourself a great rest of your weekend, a happy new year, and we'll look forward to promoting your luncheon when it comes up in May. All right.
Awesome, sounds good. Thanks. See you guys later.
Have a great day, Paul.
All right. Let's throw this back up on the screen and let's talk a little bit of this team right here. That
We're going to do our big number.
You know what? We should probably do the big number before we get into this. You're right. That's a good idea. Let's do the big number first before we get into all things sports. Because there we go. Big number of the week. Race to 10 currently as a score of 4-2. And our big number this week is really specific. It's 34,752,434.
And I know the answer. It's the amount of times my grandsons have watched Bluey.
That's a good guess.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Really good guess.
Love that show, by the way.
Businesses or Bluey is the answer. And if you haven't put your answer in the chat yet, hit pause. I don't know. The Bluey television show, the Bluey YouTube show, where is it only on YouTube or is it on TV?
You can get it on several different venues. We get it on like Prime, I think, or something.
Okay.
But maybe even Disney, not Disney. I don't know. But it's out of Australia, so it's like a free agent. It can go just about anywhere, I guess.
It's become the thing this year. It has become the thing for kids. As of September, it's the Australian animation show has become the most watched show in the United States, logging in over 35 billion minutes, which could have been the big number of the week, but instead it was small businesses. I'm going to take the point this week.
Come on.
There are 34,752,434 American small businesses. And of those businesses, they employ over 59 million people. So think about our country of the United States here. What do we got? About 360 million people total in the U.S. About 60 million of those.
Soon to be 340 million.
About 1/5 of all American population works for a small business, which I think is categorized as businesses employing less than 50 people. I'm pretty sure that's what the threshold is. I think it's less than 50 people is considered a small business. It might even be less than that though. So why do I even bring that up? Because in the economics of the United States, we all talk about, oh, there you go. You blew down and off again.
There we go.
We all talk about how important big business is and big numbers, but when you think about it, when 1/5 of the population works for small businesses, which is probably about 1/3, almost a half of all American workers work for a small business.
Well, because you take the retired people who are done working and the kids who aren't eligible, you've got between 16 and 67, 70, whatever. So yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
It's a big number, and we got to treat small business well. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So I'm sorry, I'm protesting today.
I'm
protesting.
So should ASU. Did you see that field goal? Texas and was it Texas and ASU?
It was. What field goal?
So unless I was duped, and maybe I was duped, I saw a video near the end of regulation, ASU and Texas. ASU had a chance to kick a field goal to win the game.
Wasn't it Texas? The kid with the bushy hair?
I think that was in the first
It was
overtime.
Burt Auburn. Okay,
I
okay,
think it was the first
all
because
right,
it went to 2 overtimes.
okay,
But at the
okay.
end of regulation, a field goal was attempted by ASU.
Mhm.
It was partially blocked. It bounced like right at near the goal line and went over the crossbar. Now, if that's true, and the video I saw could have been faked. I don't know. I didn't go down the rabbit hole far enough to find out if that was a true thing or not. But if that was real, if that really happened, that should have counted.
Oh boy, I don't know, and I didn't see that. I
Yeah.
did not. I think it might have been a fake video.
I wonder. Maybe it was, but I was intrigued by that when I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wondered if a ball gets kicked up high enough in the air, hits the ground, and then still goes over the crossbar and through the uprights. Is that a good field goal? And apparently, according to this person's interpretation of the rules, it is. So I don't know.
Wow, that's interesting. I watched the game, and I don't remember that specific thing. And maybe I stepped out for 2 seconds. I don't know. I
Should have.
remember the missed field goal per se. I don't know if I saw it, but I remember. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched so much football in the last couple of days, week, whatever. It's
I
very
found
interesting.
I found the video, and I don't know how long this is, so I'm not gonna. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can't fast forward it. Darn it.
Well, go ahead and play it. We got time.
Well, I want to see. All right, maybe I'll keep the volume off and just see if this works. This is the guy explaining. There's the kick. There's the bounce. And there it goes over the field goal. You see that? I can't reverse the video. It's not, there's no bar thing on here. But this guy goes on to explain that if that happens, it's supposed to count. I'm like,
Okay.
wow,
I'm going to go back and check it out. Because I do not remember that. But anyway.
They ended up losing 39-31 in double overtime.
Yeah. I watched it. I watched the whole thing. And I don't remember that field goal in that try. And I don't remember the refs saying anything about it. I mean, the announcers.
Let's see if you can see this time here. Kick, bounce, over the field goal. That's that. I don't know. This has been circulating around, so we'll see if anything comes of it before.
Yeah, save me the trouble of having to look it up. Just send it to me.
Yeah.
Send me a link.
I just looked up ASU field goal and it popped up. It was like the second thing. That's first or second.
All
thing.
right, I'll do that as soon as we're done here.
All right, the more important game, the Bears, the Packers, and I guess I've heard more than one person say, it's not a rivalry anymore because both teams have to have a shot at winning if it's a rivalry, and the Bears just haven't for a long time. Although they almost beat the Packers the first game, the first time they met this year. They had them.
They had them. The Bears had something to play for. And, it came down to that last kick. And there are Bear fans out there that say, yeah, well, it was an illegal thing, blah, 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 blah. And the way it was explained to me is if the center, okay, so here's what happened. The center hikes the ball. You can't touch him until he's up in blocking motion. You cannot touch him. Well, the Packers bumped up against him on both sides because you can't help it. You got 22 bodies or whatever, but banging into each other. So that's going to happen. The center has to lift his head up right away because otherwise he could keep it down the whole time and you could never get a block. You could never get a rush. You could never get anything because the minute you touch him, if his head is down. So there's a reasonable expectation that the center will have to lift his head up, and the refs didn't feel that he did. So to me, could have gone either way, I suppose.
That was here. I found this one pretty quickly too. NFL ruled Packers field goal block in week 11 was a legal move. Yeah. This is on Bleacher Nation Bears on Facebook.
No, okay. So it's a bear
focused,
bear friendly
yeah,
publication. So yeah, okay, all right. Well, anyway, so you're right. The Bears have nothing to play for. The Packers really don't either, because even if they win 150-0, it doesn't matter as long as Washington wins. If Washington wins, they're the 6th seed. Green Bay's the 7th seed. Green Bay goes to Philly. Washington then goes to the better of the two, Tampa Bay or the Rams, record-wise, which probably will be the Rams. So Washington will go to the Rams, and then Detroit or Minnesota, whoever loses that, will go to Tampa. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
Going to Tampa.
And on a good day, it's hard to beat
Baker Mayfield.
Mayfield. Yeah, Mayfield is he gets on a streak. He gets on a hot streak, and he's just good.
I'm kind of half hoping Minnesota wins the division, and Detroit has to go to Tampa.
That would be tough,
because I don't think going to Tampa is better than going to LA or Philly. I think Tampa's the tougher of the three. I do.
Well,
they got a really good defense, a horrible coach. He's not a good coach. Horrible game management, clock management. But Baker Mayfield and some of those receivers and some of that defense. Oh yeah, no, I'm almost good with the Packers being a 7 seed and going to Philly.
Well, Washington beats the Rams. I think Washington beats the Rams, and I think, oh gosh, I can't even predict, because what's going to happen with Lions and Vikings tomorrow night. I can't even predict. So until that game is done, I don't even want to speculate on the playoffs for either one of those two teams.
I know, it's
crazy. Following your idea there, if the Lions have to go to Tampa Bay, that turns into a really awesome game. I still think the Lions pull it out. Somehow. But yeah,
and then Minnesota goes to Tampa,
and then Minnesota hosts Tampa if they get the 1 seed. If they win, if they beat the Lions.
No.
Oh,
no.
You're right.
No, it's the 5 seed that will go to the 4 seed.
So, I guess more importantly, the Packers most likely have to go to Philadelphia.
More than likely, because Washington has to lose. Packers have. If they both lose, then Washington still is the 6th seed.
Can they?
that last week's loss kind of was tough.
I think what that boils down to is, can the Packers score enough in the first half to put Philadelphia on their heels, take Barkley out of the game, not completely, but as much as you can, and hold on in the end to actually end up winning the game. That's
because if your goal is to get the ball in the hands of Saquon Barkley, well, you can do that out of the backfield, because he's a great receiver coming out of the backfield. And that's where he kills a lot of teams. If you take his all-purpose yards, he's probably got about 2,400 this year. Right. I want to say he's got a couple hundred, 250 maybe in receiving yards. And I don't know that for a fact. I just know what I've seen. Because he's got 2,000 and something all-purpose rushing yards. In fact, he's 101 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's all-time record. He's going to sit out tomorrow. And I kind of don't blame him or the team. Because if he gets injured, and then still only gets like 55, 60 yards, and he goes out in the third quarter or something like that, oh my God, Nick Sirianni is going to get fired before third quarter starts or third quarter ends. Anyway, so I got a couple of stats for you. Jordan Love's numbers: 2023, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,159 yards, and a 96.1 passer rating. This year, so far, 25 touchdowns. So he's not going to throw 7 against the Bears. So he won't touch that number. He won't even hit 30. He might have 2, maybe 3. So maybe he's got 28. 11 interceptions. I really don't think he's going to throw an interception. That's the exact same thing as last year. And we were so worried this year, not you and I probably, but the media and again, hot takes and what's happening to Jordan Love. Well, the same thing that happened last year. He's going to end up with 11 interceptions. He's got 3,320 yards now. Unless he throws for 800 yards tomorrow, he's not going to come close to that number either. But I
No.
think he will have 3,400, maybe 3,500, 280 yards, and he's at 3,500 with 11 interceptions. And he's got a 97.5 passer rating, which is better than last year. So the numbers say that he is actually a little better this year with respect to the touchdowns. They're down a little bit. But that, to me, is a coaching problem. Some of the plays that have been called. Now, Matt LaFleur needs to grab him by the earlobe and say, Jordan, come here. Here's what I want you to do. Maybe it is on Jordan Love. Maybe he's trying to get the whole banana in one play when he should be trying to get that check down receiver. That's the problem with the Packers, is they haven't done enough in the check down department, whereas last year they did. They had sustained drives of 8 to 10 plays.
That's been Aaron Rodgers' downfall.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers gave up on the check downs. He was just going for home runs all the time, and that messed him up the last 3-4 years.
You go for a home run when you see that your guy's got his guy beat by 3 or 4 yards. Then you go for the home run, and not all the time, because what happens is, the Minnesota secondary wasn't that good, but they played lights out last week. But they're middle, and with like Harrison Smith, the cornerback, coming up and covering the middle. As long as you know what's going on, then you're okay. You're okay with your two safeties back there patrolling the. Harrison Smith is a safety, but Byron Murphy is the one I was thinking about. He's the one that comes up and plugs the middle to where the Packers can't get anything over the middle. So they have to go long because Josh Jacobs is going to wear out. You cannot run him 25 times a game, not in a physical game. And tomorrow will be a fairly physical game, and you don't want to get him injured. So back off on running Josh Jacobs. You can start out the first quarter. That's fine, because you do have to get out to an early lead. That's what the Packers have done.
I'm looking at Jacobs right now, and it says he's got 1,285 rushing yards, which is currently 5th place in the league. Yeah. He's not going to catch Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley because they are so far out in front of everybody else.
Well, yeah, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley's got 2004, I think.
Robinson in Atlanta. He's only 1 yard behind Robinson in Atlanta, but Robinson's going to run a lot this weekend, and he's probably going to put up 100+ yards. And I don't think Jacobs is going to run 100+ yards this weekend unless he breaks
I think Jacobs is going to break a couple. I think Jacobs probably will get about 120 yards. That's what I think. And then they're going to pull him at about the half. So
he could end up being 3rd place for yards in NFL this season.
But that's a hollow stat anyway. Who cares? Maybe he cares. I don't know.
Right.
I don't think there's any incentives with it or anything. The only incentive is that let's win some playoff games.
He wants a Super Bowl. That's what he wants.
He does. Oh, and by the way, the record last year for the Packers, 9-8. This year, I'm assuming a win tomorrow. I'm okay for assuming that. I'm not dissing Bear fans. I'm just simply saying I think most people think the Packers are going to win. They should win. If they don't win, then you can forget about Green Bay winning any playoff games this year. You can forget about that.
And overall, and Jordan Love missed 2 games this year.
He did. He missed 2.5 games because Malik Willis had to come in the half. You
and I would argue he actually missed like 4 or 5 because he was not healthy in those.
That's right. So the 11 interceptions, he might have had 40 touchdowns. You figure those 4 yards or those 4 games. Even if he throws 2 per game, which is actually pretty good. Let's just say in those 4 games, he throws a total of 6. All right. And he throws a couple tomorrow. That's 27 and 6. Well, that's 33 right there.
Yeah.
That's 33 right there. If all things being equal. All right. So he's had a pretty good year. I do think he has regressed slightly this year with his decision making. I don't know. I'm not sure. And the Packers are technically a better team this year because now you got Luke Musgrave back, but you've got Aaron Jones and a very good Emmanuel Wilson. By all accounts,
they let go of Aaron Jones and they brought in Josh Jacobs.
That's what what did I say? I said Aaron Jones, right? I meant Josh Jacobs. They got a better, I Yeah, I don't know. Aaron Jones is pretty good this year in Minnesota,
He's
but he's
doing
got a
well.
really big, beefy line there too. But he had one in Green Bay. I think that was a 1-1A. That was pretty much an even swap. But what you got was 4 years more on a contract. 4 years more of a player. 3.5, 4 years, because he's younger. He's 3.5 years younger than Aaron Jones. So less beat up, better line, all of that stuff. All right, so I'm predicting the Bears or the Packers win. I don't know. I think it's going to be a fairly ugly game, but I think it's going to be ugly because Green Bay's probably going to play their starters early and then pull them. So by halftime, you're going to see Malik Willis in the second half. You're going to see Bo Melton, Malik Heath.
If they're clicking, if they're doing
If they're
well, he'll
clicking.
pull them. If they're not, I think he leaves them in to work out the kinks.
Oh, if it's 10-6 or 13-10 or something like that. No, I think you're right, because they need to come out on a positive note. They need to come out having just ran a 10-play, 76-yard scoring drive, culminating with a bruising touchdown run by Josh Jacobs, or a beautiful pass in the corner to Tucker Kraft or Jaden Reed with an end around or something, to where it says, okay, we're good. We can quit now. As far as the defense, they are 5th overall in defense right now, 8th against the run, 16th against the pass. They're 6th in scoring. They may not be 5th overall. I think they're a little lower than that. But they're 6th in scoring defense. And once people started figuring out that, hey, we're not going to throw to this McKinney guy, we're not going to throw in his direction.
Right.
That's when his interception stopped, and they started focusing on the middle. So if Green Bay can focus on that middle, and Edgerrin Cooper had a monster game last week. Look for Edgerrin Cooper to be the absolute bona fide game ball winning stud this week.
Well, there could break a record. Of course, this is week 17, and these records are mostly based on 16 game seasons. So there's that too. The Packers have 8 players this season with at least 3 sacks. That's tied for most in team history.
Wow.
So 8 of our defensive guys have 3 or more sacks.
Wow.
Lucas Van Ness has 3. Keyshawn Nixon has 3. Edgerrin Cooper has 3.5. He's going to get at least 1 against the Bears. Carl Brooks has 3.5. Brenton Cox has 4. Kingsley Enagbare has 4.5. Devontae Wyatt has 5, and the leader of the pack on defense, Rashawn Gary, has 6.5 sacks. I'm surprised he doesn't have 10. Watch for him to get another 1 or 2 this weekend.
Okay, so a lot has been said about Rashawn Gary this year, as far as, well, he just hasn't shown up. Yes, he has. He's had a good year. He's been double teamed a lot. They've gone away from him a lot. So, but he's very disruptive.
He's a force.
He's a force. So do you know who has 2?
I don't see that on here, but probably, let's see, Eric Wilson has 2.
Okay.
Quay Walker has 2.5.
Yeah, Quay Walker is out for the game, so he will not. And I'm hoping he's back for the playoffs.
Let's see. Yeah, Walker remains out with an ankle injury. Wilson is likely to get his shot. If he gets 1 sack, it will break a Packers record for the most players with 3 or more sacks in the season.
Nice.
Don't really care if that happens or not. What I really care about is like someone like Lucas Van Ness finding some confidence moving into the playoffs. Any of those 8 guys that we just mentioned, just having their confidence boosted going into the playoffs, because we need them to show up big time when it comes time to play against the Eagles.
Absolutely.
That's
That's what it really comes down to, is confidence. I really believe, and I think our defense now last week didn't really show it. I don't know what the problem was, but you just kept letting Jordan Addison, that Jaden Naylor. Who in the world, I think it was 83. Who in the world let him out of his cage? Come on.
So good,
can you guard him? Can you guard him?
The way I saw it was that the Vikings have a very similar situation to what the Packers have. They got a really good wide receiver room full of talent, and few people really know about it. So when they go out there and show up like that, it's like,
and they use them better.
They use them
That's
better.
the thing. They use them better because what's happening is the Vikings were dinking and dunking, which is the exact same thing that Detroit does. Dink dunk, 10 for 10 on that drive, or whatever. Jordan Goff several times has had stretches. He had one game where he went 18 for 18.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like really never had an incomplete pass. They had more punts than incomplete passes. I think like 2 punts or 3 punts or something.
That's a really good game.
Well, it's unbelievable. And it really does come down to simple fundamentals. And this is what Green Bay's not doing. Now, I'm thinking they're playing possum, like maybe you said.
That's what I'm hoping too. I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they're holding their cards close to their chest, knowing they're getting into the playoffs. And now watch out if they need some great, some well drawn up plays that are maybe not necessarily trick plays, so to speak, but just something that no one else has seen yet.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see.
Unlike Detroit, I think Detroit has such an ego. They will bring out their little trick plays. That one to Jameson Williams where he catches it and flips it. Great play. I loved it. But why would you show that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
You were already beating up the other team. You didn't need to do that.
You won the game 40-something to 20 or whatever. I'm not sure why they did. This is why I say Dan Campbell. He's got too much of an ego. Too much of an ego, and I think he's we're gonna go for it on 4th and 10. But sir, we're on our own 20-yard line. I don't care. We're going for it. We're gonna show them who's boss. Okay, but sir, we're only up by 6. We could go up by we could run the clock out.
Right.
Whatever.
All right, we need to wrap this up. Let's wrap this up. What do you want to finalize? I guess predictions against the Bears and.
All right. My prediction is going to be a low-scoring game. I think Green Bay is going to open it up, and they're probably going to go up 14-0, 14-3, something like that. The Bears have given up. They gave up in week 6, week 7. They gave up a long, long time ago. They're on a 10-game losing streak or an 11. I don't remember. I think they were 4-2. What are they now? 4-11. 4-12. They're 4-12. So if they're 4-2, it's 10-game losing streak. Let's give them an 11-game losing streak to end their season. Their entire team is going to be revamped, all but the front. The owners. It's not until the owners go that they're going to do anything. I'm sorry. And even if the McCaskies, after Virginia McCaskey passes away, if they decide, I kind of like my cushy life and I kind of like having the Bears, no, we're going to hang on to it. But if they do sell it, then the Bears get an ownership group in there. It'll get a new stadium done and all that. But Ryan Poles probably needs to go. Definitely the coach is gone. The new one, Thomas Brown, he's gone. He's proven
his rehearsal or his what do you call it?
Job interview or whatever.
His job interview has not been going well. I mean,
no. So I really do believe
not as a coach.
So I believe Green Bay is going to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I say Green Bay 23, Bears 13.
Maybe 13. Yeah, like 23
to 13 is what I'm thinking. Somewhere along those lines. So maybe 39 points total if you're doing an over-under bet or anything like that. Not that you should or should not. I'm not encouraging anything. Betting can be bad. But
that's a really good guess. 23-13, 2013, something like that.
Something like that. I just want it to be fairly convincing. I want for when the guys come out, maybe if it's like 17-3 at the half or something like that, the Packers just get conservative and kick a couple field goals in the second half, 23, and the Bears score a touchdown and a field goal or something.
I guess. Okay, I think I'll go a different direction. Just something just hit my brain. Because we have this young stud named Malik Willis. If he plays the second half, if the Packers do enough the first half that they're like, all right, starters taking a break, he's good. Our backup receivers are good. They could run up the score in the second half just because of their talent. So I'm gonna go with a 40-13 final score.
Dang. Wow.
Malik Willis, player of the game, 40-13 final score.
Wow. Okay. All right. I love it. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And that's yeah. That might create some quarterback controversy. I think Malik Willis should start the first playoff game.
Well, teams are gonna ask about Willis and want to trade for him after this season. So you're gonna get some trade capital because you're not gonna keep him. And
You don't think so?
I don't, unless he loves Green Bay so much that he just wants to stay and loves playing back up to Jordan Love.
If he thinks that he's got an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, although winning a Super Bowl as a backup, you know,
right? Who? Yeah,
because if you're the 53rd guy on, a team
Unless
that
Nick
won
Foles.
the Super Bowl, huh?
Unless you're Nick Foles, they don't remember you.
Nick Foles, but and he was the Super Bowl MVP in
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
say 2018,
That was
beating the Brady
Philly
Patriots.
special. Run that Philly special.
Yeah, run that Philly special. I love how they call it the Philly special. I love it. And this is what I wish Green Bay would do, is more of that stuff. Trick plays, keep them on their toes, on their heels. Keep them on their heels. And this is what their offense hasn't been doing, and this is what their defense has been doing, has been kept on their heels. This is the problem. Oh, and by the way, that last play to is it Cam, not Cam Akers, but Cam Robinson, I think his name was, the guy that caught that last pass when it was 3rd and 8, and he just barely catches it. It's this far off the ground, dude. It's 6 inches off the ground, and he grabs it with his fingertips and carries it and brings it in. You're on the 30-yard line, 35-yard line. You're not going to go for it on 4th down if that's an incomplete pass. Number one, you stop the clock. Number two, if you don't get it, Green Bay wins the game with a quick field goal. So you're going to punt the ball away, unless you're Dan Campbell. But you're going to punt the ball away. And had they punted the ball away, Jaden Reed gets it. He maybe runs 15 yards. Now they're on the 40-yard line, the 38-yard line, or whatever. Now all you have to do to get into Brandon McManus range is go about 25 yards. And you've got a minute and 30 seconds. And I believe they still had, I want to say 2 timeouts. 1 or 2 timeouts.
They had timeouts, yeah.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did use them in that sequence. Didn't matter anyway. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. With that kind of time, it's not like you got 22 seconds and you've got to go end zone or sideline. You had a minute and a half or a minute 25 or whatever it was to where you could have gone down there and gotten a Brandon McManus field goal. That's how close it was. And by the way, did you notice how many Packers were around Cam Robinson when he caught that ball? I'm going to give you 2 choices, 0 or 5. What do you pick? There were 0 Packers for a radius of about 5 yards, 5 to 7 yards.
Yeah.
Nobody caught him coming out of the backfield. And one of the things about Sam Darnold, and this is kudos to Kevin O'Donnell, the coach, is that he is a quarterback whisperer. He's the best kept secret in the NFL. Sam Darnold's a pretty good quarterback. He's 7-8 years in the league now. As far as I'm concerned, he's won a starting job.
Yeah, it's a first
round pick. But you know what? When you're with a coach that doesn't know what he's doing and doesn't get the best out of you, you're gonna just go off to the Ryan Leaf quarterback pile, the Todd Marinovich quarterback pile, the Matt Leinart quarterback. You're gonna go off to nowhere land if you don't have a good coach. You look at some of your great quarterbacks and then look at the coaches they've had.
Yeah.
Brett Favre had Mike Holmgren. Aaron Rodgers had Mike McCarthy. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy. I like him. Jordan Love has Matt LaFleur. Patrick Mahomes has one of the greatest coaches of all time, Andy Reid. Tom Brady had Bill Belichick. The list goes on. What have the Bears had over the years? Do you realize in Jordan Love's first year as a Packer quarterback, he threw for 4,159 yards in his first year as a starter. How many times have the Bears in their 104-year history had a 4,000 yard passer? I'm going to give you it's multiple choice. It's either 0 or 5.
Or 0.
That's the right answer. And you wonder why we gave Jordan Love $60 million, $55 million. That's why. And again, not picking on Bear fans, but this is just the way it is. These are the numbers. So Sam Darnold is the beneficiary of having a really good offensive-minded coach, a quarterback whisperer, if you will, because Sam Darnold sits back there, and granted, his line was blocking. Green Bay's line wasn't blocking. That's when you scratch your head and go, okay. We can't go deep. Running, it's not working because they're flooding the middle. And so Josh Jacobs is getting hit and dropped for a 2-yard loss. So why don't we do this? Jaden Reed, you're going to go right out in the flat. I'm going to give you a screen pass. It's going to work 2 times out of 4. You're going to get a couple of yards here, but you're going to get that 14, 15-yarder that gets you the first down, which sustains your drive, which then keeps your defense off the field. It's really simple. And this is Packer football. This is what they've done for so many games this year and last year. They're not looking like the same team that they were last year, despite the fact that if they win today, they're 12-5. Sorry.
NFC North, absolutely crazy. 3 teams, double-digit wins, and something that's never happened before.
Yeah, not just double-digit wins, blowing it out of the water. We're going to have one team 14-2, 15-2, and one team 14-3, and another team 12-5. That is unbelievable.
Unreal. It's unreal.
I mean, we're not for the fact you got 3 teams in that division that all together will only tally 9 losses.
Unreal.
9 losses. And then you bring the Bears into there with their 11 losses, that'd be 20 losses in the entire division. By far the best. Oh, as a matter of fact, doesn't matter what the Packers-Bears game ends up, it's still only going to be 20 losses. Because the Bears would get the win, the Packers would have the loss, or Packers get the win, and the Bears have the loss. Either way, the division is still the same. Unbelievable.
It's going to be a fun Sunday to see how things all wash out. And I think I'm more excited to watch the Lions-Vikings game than I am the Bears-Packers game for the first time ever in my life.
No. I have to disagree with you on that one, buddy. I
love the Packers. I'm going to love watching the Packers-Bears play. But I'm more interested in the outcome of the Vikings-Lions game.
You are cordially invited to come over to my house and watch the game with me. I got a couple of friends coming over. My son's coming over. We're going to do some chili and some wings and all that. So you're more than welcome.
All right.
All I need is a yay or a nay. I don't even need a nay. If you come, you come. That's fine. I don't need either. But just you're more than welcome. So
all right. We'll see how it goes next week. By the way, we're going to have Ski Bronx Water Ski Show team members Dalton and Lily, who have been invited to participate in the USA national team, the team that's going to Australia to compete for a world championship. And they're raising some funds. They're raising some funds to make that trip happen. So we're going to let you know how you can help out Dalton and Lily from the Ski Bronx Water Ski Show team. We're going to talk with them next week on the show. Tonight, by the way, is the Ski Bronx Water Ski Show team bowling night over at Park Lanes. So if you want to come and support them tonight, come on out to Park Lanes. And I don't know if you can still sign up to bowl, but they have silent auction stuff and raffle tickets and things like that you can still do to support the Ski Bronx in their 2025 season that's coming up. So remember, friends, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same and meet you back here for another In Crowd 815 podcast. Buddy, Happy New Year. Thanks for a great show.
Absolutely. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.
815 In Crowd. 815 In Crowd.